Atelier is a series of RPGs in which you play as an alchemist doing alchemist things. Gathering materials, making pacts with supernatural entities, cooking weapons of mass destruction. So of all the games, why was Iris, particularly Iris 2, my first? Furry Twitter. I'll say it once again for good measure. Furry Twitter is why I played Atelier Iris 2. So back when I used that, dump, one of the few accounts I followed was Scaly's Daily. You can take a good guess at what the account does. One day, Gray from Atelier Iris 2 was posted. He seemed hot, and I never played an Atelier game, so a while later I would proceed to fix that. Iris 1 was okay, Iris 2 is really good, didn't play 3 or any of the other Atelier games, mostly just here for Gray after all. So despite that, what makes Gray the worst party member? Clickbaiting. Okay, but seriously, Gray has the worst speed of the cast. In a game where speed affects how many actions you can take and is difficult to raise, I don't think it needs to be said how this is going to be a problem. So of course I'm going to beat the game with only Gray. Also, after deciding to preemptively age restrict the Bravely Second video, I try to cover something more wholesome. The rules are simple. While Gray is in the party, only Gray is allowed to attack, use skills, use items, and wear equipment. I can't remove party members, and I don't think anyone's willing to mod this game, so they'll just be allowed to guard and run in the meantime. Kind of a given, I will be playing the North American PS2 version. The run doesn't begin until about 2 hours in, and a lot has happened since. Atelier Iris 2's narrative primarily focuses on Felt, an alchemist swordsman on an adventure to see the world, even save it. He's voiced by Spike Spencer of Ring a Bell
Among Us
fame. Sometimes the focus shifts to Vise as she becomes a better alchemist and crafts items to help Felt on his journey. By the time Gray joins, Felt is on the run, having recently helped free some anti-imperial freedom fighters. Even running from all other encounters and not wearing equipment, none of the mandatory encounters before Gray are anything to worry about. The most strategy you'll want is to heal sometimes when you fight Fee. As for the encounter where you recruit Gray, guess he can handle that on his own. There's not much to explain with Gray. He's a tank. Great defense and health, workable offenses, isn't getting many turns. I can think of at least 3 other anthros in old JRPGs just like him. Whether it's because big furry men and tanking is the male fantasy or because the developers subconsciously want to beat up furries, I have no clue. Probably the former. Can't say there's much to his character either. He literally joins because he's bored. Can't lie though, that's a mood. So, random encounters. They exist. They quite frankly suck in most cases. Iris 2 has them. Does Iris 2 do anything to make them not suck? Well yeah, actually it does. The encounter rate isn't high, at least early on. Most areas have a refreshable limit on encounters before they stop appearing. Lastly, the easily replenished consumable fear bottle turns off encounters in an area until a refresh condition is met, like leaving the area or entering a save point. Dungeons exist. Movement is basic, but really smooth, so you can zip across places just fine. There is backtrack incentive as you get new items to get recipes and materials with. After giving the rebels some cotton sheets, we have the vibe hurt by harassment gag scene, get weapon synthesis, cross the sea, explore Sessler Forest, and get into the next mandatory encounter against some fungos during Sessler. The poison isn't really scary, and I currently have a paralysis immunity accessory on Gray. After winning, we're teleported back to the rebel camp with a poisoned Fee in tow. A brief series of events later, we get the cure jar. I think now's a good time to summarize mana items and the importance of crafting. Basically, mana items fulfill the typical JRPG consumable items role, but you spend mana extracted from overworld objects and enemies to make copies of them. Really cool system that encourages item use by removing the perceived scarcity and granting some customization to said items. Crafting is simple, but every item has a set of passive effects known as reviews carried into the final product, can be strengthened by using ingredients with the same type of reviews, and many recipes call for craftable items, so there's some customization. Cure Jar is one of the earliest items you can have a crafting loop with, both being created with and being involved with the creation of Heal Herb and Wonder Grow. For now, I just strengthen the healing and elemental cost reduction review, seeing as range reviews are unneeded on healing items this run. On our way to church, Gray temporarily leaves so Felt can enjoy a nice view, and we get attacked by another Liam O'Brien swordsman. Thankfully, it's a forced loss. In the church basement, we learn Felt's home is in a snow globe meant to seal alchemists from the wider world, as their power can be devastating to said world. However, the thing keeping it together was damaged, so we go to the ateliers, workshops all over the world to put it back together. Not for lack of trying, but in a lesser game, Poe would be absolutely insufferable. Like, oh wow, his only personality trait is being straight, how original. But I don't know, it's probably a mix of Poe being the butt of the jokes and, oh wait, who voices Poe in the English dub? Oh, I was under the impression it was Barbara Goodman of La Haraldskaya, but Mona Marshall is close enough. The one authority in Eden gets on Davinci for making bombs. Speaking of bombs, we use a better bomb obtained a bit later to open up a thing for the Pony Liberation Front? The ESRB, YouTube would go nuts if I comment any further on this matter. Actual boss time. Virium Zombie gives a good taste of what combat with only gray looks like. Very desperate, it ends up unfortunately being more of a typical RPG slugfest. Heal jar when under half health, break attack when the boss's turn is distant, and attack skill like Holy Blade any other turn works fine. Thankfully, Holy Blade is cheap and that shared party resource for skills generates at a decent pace. Oh yeah, I should explain breaking. So you see everyone's turn is on a timeline, right? When an enemy is in the leftmost part, they are broken. To do this, you have to use break attack while an enemy's turn is close to that left. This enables the player to build combo by landing hits on any enemy while one is broken. Combo grants increased damage and extra experience after battle. Now you know what I'll be missing out on because Gray is slow and effectively alone.
Holy Blade! Feeling good!
I hope you remembered there was a recipe to buy at church. If not, it's a short backtrack. I guess we have Poe now. He's the second slowest character, and I understand if you thought the video would be about him from the title alone. In my restless dreams, I see that town. Inaba. After dealing with a workshop here, Noin's girlfriend gives us a pardon, but oh no, the guards have to verify it. Well, now I can read the lithographs scattered across the worlds. This is relevant if you want one of the strongest healing items at the end of the game. In Carrere, the party gets attacked by some dragon whose theme I used in the Bravely Default video. Yes, I know that's the Master of Puppets opening riff, shut up. This was a forced loss and we're directed to Dragon's Den to train. Dragon's Den contains a bunch of combat challenges in which you fight consecutive battles with a boss at the end, one of which is mandatory. Also, ignore those legendary trials. I assume it's because I have Iris 2 clear data on the memory card, and the only reason I'd switch that out is if I played Soul Calibur 3. Before doing the Dragon Trial, I recommend synthing the Invincible Blade. It'll get Gray to around Poe's normal speed, which still sucks, but at least Gray is less prone to getting doubled. Learning skills attached to weapons isn't really doable in this run since I have minimal reason to do normal encounters, but Invincible Blade at least has a nice one and a powerful 3-hit. Ice Bombs generally solve the encounters leading to the Elder Virium, while Elder Virium is tough. Keeping the anti-paralysis accessory on was a good call, but Paralysis Claw does take out most of Gray's health. I should synth better gear soon, but I'm a ways off from having the important crafting loops and trades. Gray gets a 50% increased damage bonus against dragons for winning. While in Lulzat Cave on the way to the next boss, I use the Pendulum Mana item for the first time and get pleasantly surprised when it pulls up a list to let me know every area with treasure and most backtrack reasons remaining. I feel some of the quality of life improvements will be lost on players who didn't play Iris 1, but I really can't understate how good it is. If you've been diligent or are a loot goblin like me, Ardgevald should be of little issue. The Firebrand accessory found within the same dungeon ensures Gray should have minimal issue surviving. Dragon's Wrath is dangerous, however, and I didn't test if Lightning Brand works on it, so that may be worth testing if you try an Iris 2 run for yourself. There's a plot mandatory NPC that asks for 6 Phoenix Quills. A scary ask, however there's a bag nearby that you can respawn by entering the save point. You can also just buy them at the merchant in Max's camp. Blocking the way to the next workshop, Galahad makes me lose an hour of progress because I haven't saved. Dude thinks he's speedrunning Devil May Cry 3 with his stinger spam and I choke. The constant heal and buff he gets a good ways in is scary too. On my second attempt, I go in with a new strategy. Spam Meteor. Good damage, less delay than Gray's usual attacks, and it isn't gauge reliant. I learned pretty late Galahad stops healing and starts spamming a fairly weak delaying AoE at low health, making the fight ironically easier than it started. On my way to the next workshop, Poe rizzes up a cat girl who tells us we need even better bombs from a nearby village. We meet Pamela again, her fan club ambushes us and promptly crumble in 2 meteors. We get the recipe for one of the strongest accessories in the game within South Grand Plains after that fight. In exchange for all your dark resistance, the demon ring increases all other stats, often by more than what other accessories can give. It's also craftable with items you can easily get desired traits onto and has no character restriction. At Alha Village, the bomb maker we need to consult isn't here and war breaks out, so we gotta go deal with that. Raiding Fort Zayong, I misremember the place having infinite encounters, but I still can't repel them. Probably because I'm too low level. At most, they go down to a meteor or 2 mega flames. Remember when I said Demon Ring is one of the best accessories? Well, here's one I thought may be worth using more. The Illusion Ring. Yeah, there's a stronger variant later, but reducing gray zone delay may be worth the up to 15 points of speed lost. It definitely seems so because Gray manages to get his turn after landing a break in the commander fight. Oh yeah, that's a mandatory encounter. Meteor shreds the adds and the commander isn't really doing any damage. After getting the Imperial Army to retreat, Chaos makes Max rock hard like me when you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that hype button! Or don't, my content is entirely what I want it to be. My next video could very well be on a Souls-like third-person shooter for all you know. Despite being called the Lightning Blade, Chaos does not use lightning attacks, so don't bother with equipping a lightning brand like I did. Chaos himself isn't too different offensively from Galahad in the sense that they both constantly buff until reaching low health. Chaos doesn't heal though. Chaos is practically immune to meteors, so you'll want to use Gray's skills to do damage.
Be gone! So lame.
Of course. You had me at orphan.
On the revisit to Rizevelt, we get the recipe for Philosophic Ash. There was more to this part with another recipe, but it turns out a later recipe just did far more important things. Oh yeah, the bomb guy comes back, so we gotta go back and pick up the Binding of Isaac fan's favorite cookbook. Well, we get a choice of objective order and a bunch of new areas to backtrack for. Zvital Village, besides being on the way to a workshop, has a bunch of new recipes to buy, namely the Dark Fairy clothes. Gray can't wear them, but some of the materials used to craft them grant reviews like critical and attack count up, and they can be burned into charcoal to further spread and improve those reviews. Admittedly, attack count up isn't useful this run because we can't really use combo count, but you can't go wrong with crit, speed, and more physical attack on everything.
Now you come out!
Despite my gear improvements, Slaith Reincarnation does not mess around. They hit hard, can delay Gray's turn, and can summon mobs that aren't easy to remove. I sure do love forgetting to save. After changing to a double demon ring setup, Gray now stands a chance against Slaith.
What is that monster?
I bet the test is to beat this ridiculously oversized thing.
Look out! Here! Darkness be gone! Good, good.
There's a section before a workshop where only Felt and Poe can enter, but no bosses, so just run.
Now that I'm married, it is my sacred duty as a husband to have affairs all over the world.
That's right, we're gonna cheat.
With Eden fully restored, Vise can rest, but oh no, Iris is sick and we have to make an elixir. We also get a ruby prism recipe along the way. Just a fair warning on elixir, I don't recommend using monosynthesis for it right now. There aren't any respawning life element crystals, and there's a thing coming up that will eat into your life element. You do want to make an extra elixir though through materials, as it's required for synthing most characters' final weapons. Elixirs also where you may only want to have 3 effects from Dark Fairy Clothes, as Doorwater's Heal L review will remove reviews of a similar tier or lower, like Critical L from the elixir. Gray's final weapon is absolutely worth it though. Oh yeah, before Felt can go home we gotta finish the revolution. There's some mandatory encounters in East Regenbogen that Gray mops with ease. Rize Palace has a high encounter rate, no encounter limit, and Fear Bottle does not work here. Thankfully the enemies are weak, so just run. We fight Galahad again. Same moveset, better stats, but Gray is way stronger than last time. Don't worry though, Quetzalcoatl kicks my butt. They can delay my turn, inflict a speed debuff, block healing by inflicting curse, and of course deal good damage. Perhaps I should have went for defense traits on all my gear, but I need damage and I need it now.
Perish!
With the Empire expelled, Felt goes to church by himself and fights Chaos. Funnily enough, Felt can survive a couple of attacks while naked, until Chaos buffs. I stick 2 demon rings on Felt. Felt gets stoned for his troubles. 3 weeks later, Vise decides this domestic housewife thing is boring and goes out to make sure Felt isn't doing his sacred duty. Thankfully, there's only 1 mandatory encounter on entering Belkite. Fear Bottle works for the desert areas just fine at level 1, and we get Gray back after some scenes in Rize Palace. We also get a recipe for the Mel Orb. I recommend synthesizing 3 as they cost life elements. It doesn't take long to get back to Felt, but oh no, Chaos hit Felt with the extra strong strain, so we gotta get material for a better orb.
So you told her you were going out for milk and never came back.
D-Stone Orb is the main reason I suggest you save life element. You only need about 5 for the main story, but 40 are required for a recipe. Until then, Eden ends up spilling into Belkite and Chaos hits Eden with the Fog, because every other PS2 game needed to let you know how well this console does Fog. Time to go make the Philosopher's Stone, Ruby Prism. This is a comparatively long section of the game where you go all over the world to learn about the Crimson Azoth and get the Prism ingredients, so I'll keep it to highlights. Though that's been most of the video. Vintane is a dungeon you expect to be confusing, but is basically a straight line. Great music too, but that's been the entire game. Also, highly recommend checking out the arranged soundtrack for this game. The opening of Emperor Fang sounds even more like E1M1 in Master of Puppets. Really, just check out the Atelier series soundtrack in general, it's so good. Ardgevald gets absolutely dumpstered. Even without lightning and firebrands, his damage is bad, and that's all this sad dragon does. Probably helps I use Philosophic Ash to boost Gray's elemental defenses. I forgot you could buy the recipe for the Mana Mobius from the Riesevelt bartender. Thankfully it's not missable, but Gray could have had slightly better delaying ages ago. Wanna hear a joke? Clockwork. That's it. That's the joke. The mandatory encounter right before the Verger doublet exists. It's actually a little tough. Ruby Prism made, Azoth restored, and Eden gets the Persona 4 Golden treatment. Remember when I hyped up the illusion bracelet only to drop it at the slightest hint of struggle? Well, Mitsue gives you the evolved version in Speedster. It's also useless. I definitely mixed up side questing and main plot. You only need a D-Stone cruise to enter the final dungeon. De-stoning everyone else in Eden also gets you an attack item recipe. I also realized I'm locked out of the poison mana place. I don't remember if the chest had anything good, and thankfully the lithograph is mandatory. During the final dungeon is a noteworthy mid-boss. I get wiped trying to use Speedster, then wiped again not expecting the guard to use a dark move. Okay, it's not actually that bad, but if there's any time to start making and using elixirs, it's now. So the lithographs are hyped up. What's the reward for this side quest? A healing item recipe. Yeah, elixir covers similar bases with a full heal, but cure crystals element costs are different enough, and it's still a different stack of items. Final boss time. Palaxius is known among the 10 people that played this game as a difficulty spike and is the final exam of the game. Unfortunately for the anarchists in the audience, this is an exam of the pro-state variety. Palaxius has it all, taking after the Lucifer in his boss theme's name, and can just decide to one-shot you. If he lands sleep with his ailment move, you're pretty much screwed, especially if used after a Shadow Azoth. If he uses Crimson Moon while you're in any way vulnerable, better hope Guts kicks in. It's really funny that his Omni debuff is the least threatening move he has. At certain health thresholds, Palaxius will use Crimson Split, giving about 5 actions of extra pressure. You can't really run non-demon ring gear here either. So, an actual wall. How to overcome it? Well, I mostly just run face first into it. Guard and Guts give me RNG dependent safety nets, so there is a chance. I could level grind and get the remaining passives, but that's boring. I could also engage with alchemy, but I have to backtrack. The main adjustments are make R to roll back to a previous weapon for Infernal Blade as it ends up doing more damage than Dragon Ruin, make Cure Crystals, actually use Divine Shields, and to use stat boosting cores. I can really only increase elemental resistance, magic attack, and HP, but that may have been the push I needed. Palaxius is dangerous and my winning attempt is long, but here it is.
Why don't you Palax and free?
Nothing shall remain of you. Here! All hope is lost for you. Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more.
I'll fight you.
Here! Nothing shall remain of you.
Let's end this.
Why resist? You'll only suffer more.
Can't believe it.
Why resist? You'll only suffer more. All hope is lost for you. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why are you so weak? Here! Nothing shall remain of you. Nothing shall remain of you. Here! Nothing shall remain of you. Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why are you so weak? Nothing shall remain of you. Here! All hope is lost for you. Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Ah! All hope is lost for you. Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Here! Why are you so weak? Ah! Here! Death is lurking upon you. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. All hope is lost for you. Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Nothing shall remain of you. Here! All hope is lost for you. All hope is lost for you. Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Darkness be gone! All hope is lost for you. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Here! Nothing shall remain of you. Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Ah! Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Nothing shall remain of you. Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. resist, you'll only suffer more. Here! All hope is lost for you. Here! Nothing shall remain of you. All hope is lost for you. Here! Why are you so weak? Ah! Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Nothing shall remain of you. Nothing shall remain of you. Here! All hope is lost for you. Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Here! All hope is lost for you. Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Darkness be gone! Death is lurking upon you. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why are you so weak? Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Nothing shall remain of you. Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Why are you so weak? Here! Why are you so weak? Here! All hope is lost for you. Here! Why are you so weak? Here! Why resist? You'll only suffer more. Darkness be gone! Why are you so weak? Darkness be gone!
And that's it. That's the run. Honestly, I kind of expected Palaxius to be trouble, and admittedly some of it was self-inflicted as I was severely underleveled. I'm glad that there was at least something to this run. One of Atelier Iris 2's strength in my opinion is the combat, though I feel the game is mostly too easy for it to shine. While this challenge definitely doesn't let the primal satisfaction of comboing really come to play, stuff like having to engage with crafting earlier and managing turn delay thankfully became bigger factors in this run. Iris 2 occupies a weird space in my mind. I like the game. I don't normally do that. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Beryl!